What's going on, guys? It's Gendo here, and welcome to episode 53 of The World's First. If you're still enjoying the series, please go and smash that like button. Now, today, we're gonna have ourselves a little bit of a Christmas bash. We have Woking coming up first, and then Newport County on Boxing Day. But of course, before we get to that, we must go over how we've been faring in the league, in the FA Cup, and the FA Trophy. So, let's take a look at the recap. As you can see, the result sheet looks a little congested. We've played 10 matches since last we left against Braintree, and we did fairly well for ourselves, I must say, especially in the cup competitions. Following the FC United match, we then, of course, drew against Doncaster and narrowly beat them by the score of 1-0. I feel like we edged them out very slightly, even though the results, and I should say the stats, looked pretty similar. But we then came across Blackpool, who were sitting up in League One, and it was no contest. Even though the score sheet shows that it's 1-0 to Blackpool, they really dominated us in terms of shots and possession, so it didn't feel like we were going to come away with a victory here anyway. But that's okay, because we then have the FA Trophy to concentrate on, and we defeated Alfreton by the score of 3-1 there to safely advance into the second round, where we'll be taking on Tamworth, as you can see, in the second round, who are sitting in a division below us. So I feel like that should be a nice win for us, but you never know. Cup competitions are weird and wacky and all that. May have a little bit of squad rotation and whatnot. But now, getting back into the league proper, we did have a little bit of a dip in form, as you can see in the middle of all this, but we did start off fine, winning our next two league matches against Chester and AFC Telford by the score of 3-1 apiece. Then, this is where the wheels start to fall off and start to go careening back and forth. We drew against Accrington Stanley 0-0, then lost to Grimsby by the score of 1-0, ending what I want to say was a 10-match unbeaten run in the league. Very unfortunate, but all good things come to an end, as they say. But then we came right back against Maidstone, relegation, hovering around the relegation zone. Maidstone, it was a 3-2 victory there. But then against Bury, rather curious, we came away losers on this end by the score of 3-1, but that's okay. Once again, we rebounded against Alfreton, funnily enough, playing them in the FA Trophy match right after this, but we came away with the victory here by the score of 2-1. And seeing as how we've been continuing on with this run of form, you can safely assume that we're probably still in first place. And you'd be exactly right. However, our lead has dipped a little bit because of the draw and the losses that we suffered. We are now only 4 points clear at the top, ahead of Ebbsfleet, but we do have a match in hand, which we could come back up to 7 points clear. But as you can see, Ebbsfleet, Bury, Newport, and Hyde sitting around the playoff spots, and our second opponents today in Woking, sitting right up there in 8th, could potentially get into a playoff spot themselves. So like I said, I chose these two matches because I felt that they were quality opponents. They're also challenging for a playoff spot, and we'll test our mettle against them. Hopefully come away with a result versus both of them. But of course, matches aren't played on paper. Let's get into the first match versus Woking. It's going to be a doozy. And we might as well continue with what got us this far, the 4-4-2 bog standard, and most of the same players that have played throughout this season and have started to gel and have brought in the results. So let's take a look at the starting lineup. McCullough in net, Hutton, Arthur, Stott, and Ho is along the back line. Jones, Grayson, Gallagher, and Steele along the middle. Unfortunately, Andre Jones cannot play today because he is injured. Same thing with Joe Whittleston, our left back, also injured, out for the next 3 to 4 weeks, the both of them. And sitting up top, Anthony Steer and Steve Peters. I do have Rob Foster on the bench just in case I need to switch things up at the front of the line, but everybody else looking pretty solid. Same bench pretty much. Let's go out there against Woking, get ourselves a result. Let's continue sitting at the top of the table and win this match in hand. So let's kick off and see what happens. We do pressure them into making a mistake, and we get the ball right back. Hutton to Peters, into Steer, but Steer's offside. It was a decent shot anyway. 15 minutes gone now. The ball tried to get it up to Anthony Steer. Some really decent movement along the wing. However, we did have a little bit of a mistake that led to Woking taking the ball. We have the ball back here. David Jones going far post to Peters. Grayson out to Steele, who slips it through to Peters. Peters clangs it off the crossbar. The white beam not very helpful on this day, not pushing it downwards, instead pushing it outwards. We intercept the ball, and now we're coming at it again 20 minutes on, but we cannot keep possession. In fact, neither team can keep possession. The ball is being plinged around the midfield. Peters to Gallagher. What can we do with it here? Tries to slip it out wide, but we once again can't keep possession. Boys. Some decent passing movement now. Jones to Steer, tries to slip it on through, but a weak shot. My center back is off injured now with a bruised rib, but can we capitalize anyway? It was a decent cross in, but cleared away. We still have the attacking presence. Can we come up with pressure? Hutton out on the right wing. Can he put in a decent cross? He does. He finds Anthony Steer, who smacks it off the goalkeeper. We still have the pressure, and Anthony Steer on his second attempt after a great cross in from Jack Steele. It's 1-0 to Sheffield at the 25th minute. This was some great tenacious play by our side. Steer with the first shot blocked away, but Steele finding Steer once again on his head. Didn't really need to hit it with the head. It was a wide open net, and it's 1-0 to Sheffield. Halftime, and just before halftime, another one of my players has picked up a knock. David Jones, my right wing, and honestly my only right wing. I have no sub for him on the bench. He's going to have to see this one out. Hopefully it's not too serious. It said bruised thigh, so I'm thinking maybe a couple of weeks. I could get away if Jack Steele goes out injured because Joe Grayson can play on the left. I can't do anything with Dave Jones out injured. I have to be forced to play a 4-3-3 because I don't have a proper right winger. Like I said, hopefully he sticks out for the next 45 and we come away with the result. I can't do anything right now. He's got to stay out there. So far, we have hit the hour mark, and even on extended, there has not been a highlight. I may have spoken too soon, but Joe Grayson with the free kick, smacking it wide. Woking now at 15 minutes to go in the match, and they equalize. That was some decent passing to get it to John Goodard. It's 1-1. The defense looking a little sluggish there, to be quite honest with you. Thought they had the ball firmly closed down, but that was some decent passing. Splits the defender, splits the gap. McCullough laying all out, but honestly couldn't do any better. That was the best he could do. And Woking's only second shot on target leads to their first goal. Come on, boys. 2 minutes left. What can we do here? Can we find a late winner? Steele out on the wing, gets into Foster. Foster with a heavy touch, takes a shot. And there it is, full time. Sheffield 1, Woking 1. Honestly, we had the better chances in this match. We had more shots, we had more possession, but ultimately only led to one goal, and off a defensive mishap led to Woking's goal. It's okay. It's okay. It's a result. That's what I wanted. That's all I wanted. It was just an unlucky day that we didn't get more. Match in hand, we only gained 1 point, so we're now just 5 points clear at the top of Ebbsfleet, but that all is leading towards our Boxing Day match versus Newport, where Newport are trying to get themselves up into second place. We're going to look to play spoiler. Let's get into that match next. And on Christmas Eve, we opened the newest portion of our stadium, and my math was a little off. I originally said 4,000 seater. It's actually 3,750 is our newest capacity at the stadium, which is fine and dandy. As I said before, it's much more than what we have. We can only grow into it. But now, let's get into today's match versus Newport. So you might be asking yourself, why are you playing in an S? Well, I already told you. Dave Jones was my only right midfielder, my only right winger, and I have nobody else to replace him. So, in order to compensate, I'm going to have 3 center mids, push the wing back up just a little bit so he's sitting in between the midfield and the center back position, and just, do what a normal wide midfielder on the right would do, and that's cross the ball in. But he's not going to be pushing too far forward. I have him on defend. Now, Jack Steele, in order to compensate on the attacking front, I'm going to have him push up the left side and have him as a left attacking mid. Of course, the 2 strikers still up front. The center defenders need to hold their positions more than ever. I don't want them roaming out because, well, obviously, that right side is going to be most exposed. I want them to stay home just to cut out anything that comes down that side. So, this is only experimental formation. I have never used this whatsoever. I'm hoping for the best, but you never know. And especially against Newport, a team that's sitting in the promotion zone, or the promotion playoff zone right now, they're going to be looking to come out all guns a-blazing. So we can only hope for the best here. So cross fingers, let's kick off and see what happens. All right, boys, let's see what this S can do. We're going to be in the red, of course, Newport in the yellow. With how limited I am to bring the ball up the wing, I want to try and use long ball tactics to catch Newport off guard, but they are just way too fast. Maybe this was not the best idea, but we do have the ball here now, coming on a counter. Steer, if he can get on to wing. Hutton, he can cross it in from deep. He really should not be pushing that far up. It's a good cross in. It's a decent attempt, but Steele should be doing a lot better than that. Grayson out on the wing, gets it through to Peters. Really short angle shot. Oh my God, how did Steve Peters slip that through? I'm sorry that I was speechless. I did not think that Steven Peters was going to take the shot, number 1. Number 2, have it go in. The goalkeeper was right there. Talk about threading the needle. It's 1-0 to Sheffield. It's another free kick to Newport all the way in. Hutton doing really bad to clear the ball. Once again, another bad clearance from McCullough. He spills it in front of Prendergast. And Newport equalize. This right here, Hutton with a really bad clearance. McCullough should have done well to save that. But at the same time, Hutton should have known better than to head it across the face of goal. Newport's still coming forward. They like switching the pitch. They want to try and catch us off guard, which is exactly what they do. And they score a second. Come on, boys. McCullough spilled it. He couldn't keep it away. But once again, the defensive line is letting me down here. It's not because we have 3 on the back line. Oh, no. We have all 3 sitting in front of net, and they don't do a damn thing. They look at the ball. They don't run. They don't move. They just look at the ball and let the opponent go and get it and get themselves a goal. It's an absolute joke of a back line. We were doing very well to at least quell the danger. But now all bets are off at this point. Everybody is playing poorly along the back line. Can't say the same for everyone up front. Between the midfielders and the strikers, they're doing their part to at least try and get us and keep us in this match with the lack of a winger. But everyone else behind is playing so piss poor. We need to do something in the second half. We need to, at the very least, mark. Otherwise, I'm going to have to start subbing people out. I mean, I have this on extended. I might as well move this up to comprehensive. We are just not getting any single bit of highlights. This is our first highlight of the second half, and it's well, at least it was a little bit of attacking movement for us, but instead it's going the other way. Now we get the ball, and then clear. Well, that seems to be how the match is going, just back and forth, and then Newport with the ball, and we can't do anything with pushing everybody forward, because at this point, what do I got to lose? I'm trying to get a draw. Newport are looking to try and extend their lead, but like I said, I want to try and get myself a victory. At the very least, a draw. Nice long ball over the top to Davies. He's one-on-one with the keeper, and he needs to do a lot better than that. We had a chance. Some great tackling to win the ball back. We are in desperation mode. Jack Steele crossing it in. Liam Davies, okay, takes a shot. Hutton smacks it off the crossbar. The white beam, once again, not being very kind to us. If we want to try and score, the time is now. Pushing everybody forward. But we need to do better with our passing, and that's not how you do it. Now here comes Newport. Hutton tries to tackle him, and it's pretty much game over at this point. It's 3-1 Newport. I mean, the defensive line looking very tired, looking very, very lost. Oh, Newport looking to add another green, just wide open. Defense doesn't know what to do. The defense is all over the place. It's 4-1 Newport. We don't deserve this loss. We really don't deserve the scoreline. But with the defensive line pushing higher up than I would have liked, especially when I dropped him back to counter. So it's a heavy defeat, 4-1 to Newport. This is what happens when you have injuries and when you don't have a proper right winger that can help bring the ball up like you wanted to. You suffer heavy defeats like this. Well, fun thing is, though, even with this loss, we're still in first place, but not by much. Let's take a look at the schedule and see who we got coming up and when we'll be coming back. Of course, with the Christmas and New Year's season upon us, that leaves us with 3 more matches coming up in the next week in rapid-fire succession. Southport, FC United, Boreham Wood. But then we have Hyde, Tamworth, of course, in the FA Trophy. Torquay, Ebbsfleet, Dulwich Hamlet. There's several matches in here I want to choose from, but I think what would be best for business would be coming back versus Dulwich Hamlet, another playoff, assumingly playoff-tipped team. Since they're sitting in 7th place, who knows if they'll be where they are when we face off against them, and if they'll still be in the playoff hunt. Either Dulwich Hamlet or Ebbsfleet. I think about it. We'll come back versus Ebbsfleet, since they are currently the 2nd place team. We did lose to them last time, even though it was a very, very close battle. Hopefully we can get the better of them this time. So next episode, it's going to be versus Ebbsfleet. So until that time, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. If you like what you saw, please go and hit the like button. It lets me know that you're still interested. And of course, subscribe if you're new and you want to see more FM content on the channel. Any comments, suggestions, questions, anything else, please leave in the comment box below. And of course, this is Gendo, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and peace out.